right, Dr. Erin, let's talk about telehospice. I didn't know that telehospice and hospice existed until recently. So, what is telehospice for pets?
Yeah, so telehospice is a good kind of step in between sort of just your general senior pet care and then doing, a full-blown hospice consult. It's, basically a video call between the doctor and the family. Some, will hold up their pet, which I think is really adorable, or put the camera on their pet so they can be involved as well. But it's really just kind of having, kind of simple conversation to see, what has been going on lately. Are we ready for hospice? Um, what are some, things that maybe we can go ahead and start now before we do any full, hospice consults. So it's really kind of just, if you need like a few questions answered or talk about, quality of life scale, things like that. It's a good sort of step between if you're not quite ready to commit to like going full hospice.
That's great. I feel like it's definitely something beneficial. I mean, I had to do telemedicine appointments for myself, and it's worked out great. So being able to FaceTime with the doctor would be great to ask a couple questions and kind of get like where we are and what next steps we have. Because I know there tends to be a lot of confusion, and when we're around our pets, we don't really see the decline because it happens slowly over time. So I think getting eyes on your pet via telehospice would be great. What are some of the benefits of telehospice compared to traditional in-person?
Yeah, so I think the benefits are if you have like say like a really busy schedule and it's hard to fit some time in to sit down at home and talk, with somebody for a couple hours, or if you're like I really only have a couple questions, but I don't really need to go to my primary care vet and I just want to kind of get these questions answered, without a big kind of fuss. It's definitely helpful. And you have, that doctor that you can pick their brain. You can talk about, whatever in pre-hospice, hospice care, or even potentially talking about that euthanasia appointment.
Hmm.
So it's nice, really just like getting information, getting some ideas, sort of to get you ready for that real sort of heavier end of life.
That's great. Who can benefit most from telehospice services, and when should pet owners consider it?
Yeah, I really think everyone can benefit from telehospice. I mean, obviously, those times in pet ownership and just life in general, where you're given some kind of horrible situation or traumatic event, and you have to rush to emergency or rush to your primary care, and you can't
Mm.
really plan anything out. So I think if you're able to plan out, it's good to at least get started with some telehospice. And I think when really should be when we're in those senior years of our life and when you're starting to see sort of a slowdown or maybe some minor changes in behavior or seeing minor symptoms and you're like, is this something I need to look at for gut
Hmm.
disease or is this a sign for something bigger to come? So I think when you start to see those little kind of down ticks in their sort of behavior or their just general health is a good time to at least get started.
I think that's definitely going to help a lot of people moving forward with time frame as to when they can schedule an appointment like that. We all see hospice as such a negative thing, and it can actually be very beneficial to help extend our time frame in our brain. How does telehospice support both pet owners and veterinarians in making end of life decisions?
Yeah, so, obviously with the pet owners, we're giving them, information, giving them, tips and tricks, even potentially talking about medications, for pain or nutritional support, things like that, all very beneficial. It helps, obviously the pet to feel more comfortable and live out,
Hmm.
the final time of their life with the least discomfort. And also supporting that bond that they have with the family. And I think they can even have a stronger bond during that time as well because you spend so much time together. And it definitely helps vets because I feel like one, it's a simple thing to do, just getting on a call. And I think it's nice to be able to connect with these families. You spend a little bit more time than you would in an office setting where you're trying to clear the room. You're just trying to,
Hmm.
get these things done. Your tech's doing a lot of the history or doing a lot of the prep work. and you're just in there, flash in, flash out, and we're moving on to the next room. So it's nicer to be able to sit down to have that conversation. And then you can potentially, support that relationship even more if you go into their home and do hospice care in home and then of course doing that final appointment. So I think it's beneficial in a lot of ways for both parties and especially for the vets too, because I think it's also kind of reminds us, why we went into this career field to help people, to help pets. And it's just very rewarding to be able to kind of give that advice and use our skills and our knowledge to help as many people as possible.
It sounds like it's going to be great for all of us busy people that are always on the go. I mean,
For sure.
I feel like our schedules are getting busier and busier with no end in sight. And, it's, it sounds like it's definitely a great piece for people that are always on the go. If anybody's like me, always going. What kind of technology is used for the telehospice appointment, and is it accessible for all pet owners?
Yeah, so really it's just, your phone or a laptop or a, tablet. We just really just do video call, and so really simple, easy, nothing real complicated. I'm not very computer savvy myself. So if I can do it, most people can do it. And telehospice is definitely accessible for all pet owners, as long as you have access to, your phone. Most people have smartphones these days, um, and you don't necessarily need a tablet or a laptop. You can just use your phone. So, very accessible. Just give us a call and we'll get it set up and we'll have a doctor, calling you, in no time.
Well, it all sounds great. It's definitely something that I will keep in the back of my mind for future pets or friends' pets. Thank you, Dr. Erin.